Hello, everyone. If you've been following our channel, we've been covering the Cash Money G Fani Willis debacle for a long time. The Fulton County District has become more famous in the last 18 months than I think in the history of the county, all due to one nefarious, cheat, lion-ass dog, Cash Money G Fani Willis. And she gets absolutely spanked today. So you're going to love this video because you're just like me. You like to see justice. You like to see ethics. You like to see things come out on the right end of the scenario. And today's video is just, it's like a beautiful, delicious tiramisu. It hits all of those serotonin levels and all those juices. You're going to absolutely love this. Strap in. Douglas Weinstein, who incidentally we're in talks with. We're going to get him on our show. So really behooves you to subscribe, get into our free newsletter in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. Anyway, Douglas Weinstein responded to the motion by the prosecutorial team in Fulton County, led by Chief Deputy District Attorney Miss Love, who, it's all Fulton County. It's all Cash Money G. Everything starts with Fani Willis. She filed a motion. We covered this in an entire video, actually had the audacity in this motion to say, you guys should stop talking to the media, and actually made it official, filed a motion with Judge Whitaker, who's now taking over the case, the YSL RICO case, the longest case in Fulton County history, one of the longest high-profile cases since O.J. Simpson, to be quite frank. And she actually had the audacity, and yes, it came down from Fani Willis, to actually say, you guys shouldn't be talking to the media, i.e. Young Thug, Yak Gotti, and all the other defendants in this case. Well, Douglas Weinstein, who represents Yak Gotti, responded and used Cash Money G's very own word. Actually quoted Fani Willis at the top of the motion. Check this out. This is kind of like a lesson in legalese, a lesson in being an actual attorney at law, understanding the bar, understanding ethics, understanding just basic tenets of being an actual prosecutor. This is such a beautiful, beautiful motion, well written by Douglas Weinstein. I can't wait for you to go through this motion with me. So, I will go through this. It's very, very short, but I mean, the beginning is really the best part. It's only 7 pages long. Comes now, defendant Demontre Kendrick, who is the above-styled case in opposition to state's motion to restrict extrajudicial statements, showing the court the following. So remember, Demontre Kendrick is Yak Gotti, who is also a defendant in this Young Thug trial. So he starts off with a quote from Winston Churchill. I mean, this is poetic. Everyone is in favor of free speech. Hardly a day passes without its being extolled. But some people's idea, a.k.a. Fani Willis's, is that they are free to say what they like. But if anyone says anything back, that is an outrage. You know, as somebody who's taught business communications, somebody who's taught at some of the most prestigious universities in the world, I always say starting off with a quote just has a great intro and sets the tone quite beautifully for the rest of whatever your conveyance is. And then here we go. He actually quotes her own statement against her, the Honorable, boy, talk about a miscarriage of titles, Fani Willis. Listen to this, quote, I think if you decide to admit your crimes over a beat, talking about Young Thug, talking about Yak Gotti, I'm going to use it. Remember, this is the same woman who says they don't want me to talk about race. How many times did she speak in an ongoing trial, an ongoing investigation, an ongoing disqualification hearing at black churches, press conferences, interviews, everywhere and anywhere, cementing the indisputable fact that this woman cares about one thing and one thing only, and that is notoriety, fame, and demoney. Hence the name Cash Money G. Also, we had the whistleblower, Amanda Timpson, who worked in Cash Money G's district attorney's office on our show. If you missed that video, woo, Nelly, does she expose the truth behind the scenes. I'm not targeting anyone, Cash Money G continues. You do not get to commit crimes in my county and then get to decide to brag on it. which you do that for a form of intimidation and to further the gain and not to be held responsible. The Honorable Fani Willis, Fulton County District Attorney, press conference, August 29th, 2022. And you have the audacity. This is what Weinstein is really saying. And I'm saying it for you, Doug. I don't care if you, I don't speak on your behalf. But I'm just, my humble opinion, I'm saying it for you, Doug. Hope you don't mind. He is essentially saying, who do you think you are? You got a lot of chutzpah to say that we shouldn't be talking to the media when all you do is run that foul, fanny mouth of yours. Free speech for me, but not for thee, is the current position advocated by the Fulton County District Attorney. You know what? I'm very impressed with Douglas, by the way, really quickly. You guys know I think the GOAT is Trump's attorney, Steve Sadow. Steve Sadow is exemplary in his legal acumen, his skills, his conviction, his articulation, his ability to go right for the heart and guts of the matter without any pussyfooting around. I hail Steve Sadow as the GOAT, but Douglas Weinstein, he's up there too. I mean, it's just great to see real craftsmen in their craft, really honing their craft and really putting to school a complete, utter failed amateur like Fani Willis. This should not be surprising to anyone that has paid attention to the present case over the last 19 months of trial. Well said. The state would apparently like to present the trial not to be conducted in secret, with proceeding happening in hidden chambers outside the prying eyes of the press and the public. The state repeatedly sought the secreting of witnesses' identities, even in instances where the state has made no showing of risk to the witness, despite the court's order that such showing be demonstrated prior to blocking the broadcasting of witness testimony. Time after time after time again, what Weinstein is advocating here is that the hypocrisy knows no bounds with Cash Money G, Fani Willis's district attorney's office. It is like hypocrisy is their mantra, their credo, their hypotheses, their thesis in general. After attacking the integrity of the respective counsels for defendants and witnesses, e.g. repeatedly calling the Honorable Brian Steele a liar and accusing the Honorable Jonathan Melnick of working for defendants rather than his client Kenneth Copeland, the state now turns its attention to Demonte Kendrick, a.k.a. Yak Gotti. But to paraphrase President Truman, counsel does not give the state hell. Counsel just tells the truth about them, and they think it's hell. Woo! This is like a master class in ass whomping. Oh, Cash Money G, can you feel that? Can you feel it? Can you feel the sting, Cash Money G? In 1.5-page motion, the state cites Rule 3.6 of the Georgia Rules of Professional Conduct and cherry picks certain comments to the rule to support its motion to, quote, instruct the defense to refrain from making extrajudicial statements about this case moving forward. No case law cited. That's because they're amateurs, Doug. They don't know the law. They're all DEI hires. You think Attorney Love, the Chief Deputy District Attorney, has any professionalism at all? She yells at the judge, yells at witnesses, yells at her co-counsel. She acts a fool, doesn't time things, file things on time, misses deadline after deadline. She's a bona fide DEI hire amateur. No finely tuned order is proposed, as the state accurately quotes Rule 3.6 bars lawyers from making extrajudicial statements that a lawyer knows or reasonably should know have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicative proceedings in the matter. The state provides no specific quotes of Kendrick's counsel that might be barred by Rule 3.6. Instead, the state invites the court to go on a scavenger hunt among 208 minutes. Remember all those links? If you missed that video, I'll leave it at the end screen or in the, just go to my channel on YouTube and you'll check it out. To hunt among 208 minutes of interviews to find statements by Kendrick's counsel that might arguably violate Rule 3.6. All those YouTube links she left, Exhibit A, Exhibit D, Exhibit C, none of it had any bearing or substantive relativity. Remarkably, the state does not make a single argument that any statement by Kendrick counsel meets any of the elements of Rule 3.6. Instead, the state simply offers up a single conclusory statement. There is no argument that any statement made by Kendrick's counsel was known or should have been known to have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing this jury. No argument was made because no argument can be made. The present jury had been impaneled and hearing testimony for months before any statement was made. The jury has been instructed at the conclusion of every day of trial by Chief Judge Glanville through his ad nauseum admonitions, a slight dig at the now expelled Judge Suge Knight Glanville, that's my nickname for him, to not discuss the case with others or with each other. They have been instructed daily to not consume any media, no statements made. This is an unsequestered jury, by the way, so they're pretty much going by honor code, which I find absolutely ridiculous and preposterous. No statements made by counsel for defendants can be heard by the jury to prejudice the jury. The state invites this honorable court, which is trying to catch up on hundreds of orders. Remember, there's a brand new judge, Judge Whitaker. We covered that as well. Check out my videos. 19 months of trial, over 100 days of testimony, and testimony from almost 100 witnesses to wade through hundreds of minutes of interviews, find statements of Kendrick's counsel that might be objectionable, determine what Kendrick's counsel knew or should have known, and summon a reason about why and how they could materially prejudice a jury that is barred from and admonished on a daily basis from consuming media about the present case. This honorable court should respectfully decline this invitation. In addition, the state conveniently fails to quote from presumptively safe harbor comments included in Rule 3.6 that permit Kendrick's counsel to speak in public on his behalf. He's allowed to. If the jury has been instructed to not consume media, not discuss the matters with anybody in this ongoing case, that in and of itself should be honored by this jury that was selected by both the prosecution and the defense, and thereby exempt any discussion outside of the trial of goings-ons, opinions, etc., any kind of subjectivity on any of the participants. There are certain subjects which are more likely than not to have no material prejudicial effect on a proceeding. Thus, a lawyer may usually state information contained in public record. Each statement made by Kendrick's counsel relates to publicly available information in the public record of the present trial, which is being streamed daily to the public by people like me, by channels like mine. To the extent there are any remarks not specifically in the public record, such statements are general remarks intended to demonstrate that Kendrick should not be on trial. So he cites all these different examples in case law. And then here, let me just jump forward because essentially he's basically told Fani Willis and her entire DA's office, you guys have zero merits on this motion. There is absolutely zero validity to your claims, and you don't back up anything with any corroborating evidence or examples to advocate and persuade for your argument. This is the exact situation that Kendrick and his counsel find themselves in today. Kendrick is a public figure who is an artist. He writes, records, and performs rap music and lyrics. In Fulton County, this makes Kendrick a target of the state. Kendrick is allowed to take reasonable steps to protect his reputation, and those steps may be taken by his counsel rather than through a public relations firm. Having smeared Kendrick and his reputation, the state wants to silence him, initially by placing a burden on his free speech rights to write about the world in which he lives and the tragedies and injustices around him. And now by holding press conferences denouncing him and his writing, while subsequently seeking to bar him from defending himself in the court of public opinion. It's a travesty. Douglas Weinstein, this is written to perfection to point out the hypocrisy of Fani Willis and her entire DA's office. While the state has unfortunately been successful in impermissibly burdening the free speech of Kendrick by limiting his present and future writing, the state should not be allowed to bar him from defending his reputation. Wherefore, Kendrick prays that the court deny the state's motion. Respectfully submitted, Douglas S. Weinstein. I want to repeat this, by the way. We are actually in talks to get Douglas Weinstein on our show, so it behooves you to subscribe, hit that bell notification for all put on all notifications so you don't miss out. Your sure-proof way of never missing out is to go down in the pinned comment, show notes, and description down below and subscribe to our free, I say it again, free newsletter, everything delivered right to your inbox you never miss out. I can already tell some of you in the comments are probably saying right now, down below, saying, Nez, why are you so animated? Why do you get so aggro, so energetic, so, you're so up in arms about all this? The reason is because I've said this many, many times before. This entire channel is about getting our country back. One of the worst cancerous ideas to ever infect our civilized society is DEI. DEI is racism, period. DEI is discrimination, period. It is basically something that is admissible and denotes the only reason somebody gets picked, somebody gets hired, somebody gets chosen, somebody gets selected is not based on the quality or the ability or skill set, but based on something that they have absolutely goose egg control over, like skin tone, gender, race, sexual orientation, etc., etc. Cash Money G is a DEI hire. Failed border czar Kamala Harris is a DEI hire. She didn't earn one vote. She didn't earn one primary. She had no business being vice president. She had one job to secure the border. She failed miserably. So the reason I get so animated, or the reason that I get so vivacious perhaps is the right term, is because it just boils my skin. I love my country. I love when people do the right thing. I love when people are qualified and hired, because America is all about the best idea wins. It's not about ego. It's not about your idea, the best idea wins. The best person for the job gets the job, not on something that you have zero control over. And that's what Cash Money G is, to me, the epitome, as well as failed borders are Kamala Harris. They are the epitome of DEI nightmares. And this case that she's trumped up against Trump, pun intended, is an absolute travesty and should be thrown out. And I've talked to many Fulton County residents who are telling me, Nez, I've been waiting for 6 years to get my case. I've been waiting for 10 years to seek justice. She keeps going after these high-profile cases with a backlog of 30,000 plus cases in Fulton County, because she wants the fame, she wants the money, she wants the notoriety, she likes the lifestyle, she likes the red carpet living. And so she doesn't care about justice, she doesn't care about you, she doesn't care about me. She's a hypocrite. They're all the same. So I throw this off to you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. It is such a delicious joy to see real craftsmen at their job doing an amazing job, showing amateurs where their place is. But let me know in the comments what you think down below. I can't wait to hear from you. I try to read all the comments, so please let me know. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. Subscribe, follow, check out our free newsletter. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.